They called my inheritance crusty old junk until they found out it was worth $2 million. Now, they're pretending to care, but I know what they did. My grandfather Vincent passed away on a Tuesday. By Thursday, my family had swarmed his modest little house like vultures circling a carcass. Cousins were already digging through his furniture like it was a clearance sale. Aunt Elaine was practically guarding the china cabinet, claiming it like it had her name on it. Uncle Gregory kept hovering around the dining room set like he was already planning his next dinner party. I tried to remind them that the will hadn't even been read yet. Elaine just gave me a smug little wave and muttered something about just organizing. The next morning, we all crammed into lawyer Ellison and Tate Law Group to finally hear the will. The house, the investments, the cars, all of it went straight to Uncle Gregory since he's the oldest. The jewelry and antiques were divided among the cousins. Everyone else got small, symbolic amounts. Then Ellison cleared his throat and said, "To my grandson Theo, who spent every summer helping me catalog my collection, I leave my entire coin collection and all associated materials." Dead silence, then snickering. "Those crusty old pennies?" Samantha laughed. "Total garbage," Derek added. Even Uncle Gregory gave me a condescending pat on the back. "Well, hey, at least you got something." I didn't say a word. What they didn't know was that I'd spent years learning about every coin in that collection with Grandpa Holden. While they were out having summer fun, I was studying mint marks and soaking up stories from history. After the will reading, I went back to Grandpa's house. Gregory was already there, ordering the movers around. "Take whatever you want, Theo," he said. "We're donating the rest." I went straight to the spot where Grandpa always kept the coins, right where he left them, neatly stored in albums. Everything was labeled, protected, and sorted by decade. It took me 3 trips to haul it all to my apartment. On Monday, I called Fairview Numismatics to set up an appraisal. Mr. Halston, the owner, told me to bring everything in. "Your grandfather had quite the reputation," he said. I showed up that Wednesday, and Halston's eyes lit up the second he looked at one of the coins. He leaned in and whispered, "Sweet mother of pearl." Then he brought in his partner, Mrs. Tran. They examined a few pieces and then turned to me. "I'm calling in an expert," he said. "This collection needs full authentication." By Friday, word had gotten around. Dr. Whitaker, one of the top coin experts in the field, showed up and spent 6 straight hours going through the collection. "Your grandfather had an incredible eye," he told me. He pulled out a flawless 1910 SVDB penny, a 1917 D Mercury dime, and an 1893 S Morgan silver dollar. His conservative estimate? Somewhere between 1.7 and $2.1 million. I was speechless. He handed me his card. "I'll wrap up the official appraisal by Tuesday," he said, "but this is one of the finest private collections I've ever seen." That night, I called my mom. $2 million? She gasped. "Official appraisal's coming next week," I said. "Keep it quiet for now." But of course, the news spread like wildfire. By Monday, I got a call from Samantha. Her voice was suddenly all sweet and sugary. "I heard Grandpa's coins might be worth a lot," she said. "We should have them appraised as a family and split everything." "Split them?" I asked. "He left them to me." "Yes, but Grandpa always believed in family unity," she said. "He'd want us to share." I reminded her how she'd called the collection junk. "I was just stressed about finals," she said defensively. "Anyway, let's talk with a mediator. Work something out." Then the calls started pouring in. Derek wanted to discuss things. Elaine thought we should do some research together. Uncle Gregory left a voicemail saying, "Family interests must be protected." That afternoon, they all showed up at my apartment unannounced. They walked in like they owned the place. Gregory, Derek, and Elaine sitting on my couch like they were a corporate board. "We think there's been a misunderstanding," Elaine started. "A misunderstanding?" I asked. Gregory's tone shifted, low and firm. "Theo, don't be selfish. Grandpa gave you those coins because he didn't know how much they were worth. He never meant for you to cash in." "I spent every summer with him," I said, raising my voice. "While you were golfing and vacationing, I was helping him catalog every coin." "That doesn't mean you deserve millions," Elaine snapped. Derek stood up, fists clenched. "We can make this easy or hard, but we're not letting you keep it all." "Is that a threat?" I asked. "No," Gregory said, trying to sound calm. "But lawyers aren't cheap. Wills can be contested. It could take years." "Let's settle it now," he continued. 50-50. You keep half for sentimental reasons, and we divide the rest." "And if I say no?" I asked. Then we go to court, Elaine said flatly. Maybe Grandpa wasn't in his right mind when he made the will, or maybe you influenced him. He was sharp till the end, I shot back. Was he? Derek countered. An 87-year-old giving millions to one grandkid? Sounds shady. You guys never even visited him, I yelled. I called him every week. I sat with him in the hospital. I was there because I loved him. You manipulated him, Elaine hissed. You cut us out. My voice dropped low. Get out. Theo, Gregory began. I said now. They left without another word, their faces stiff with rage. I called my mom the second they were gone. They came here, I told her. They threatened legal action. This is going to get nasty, she warned. I already knew. Gregory always craved control, and Elaine had been bitter ever since her divorce. I met with Ellison the next morning. We weren't backing down. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing Grandpa's voice. Collecting isn't about money, Theo. It's about preserving history. On Tuesday, Ellison went over their threats. They can try to challenge the will, he said, but it won't be easy. Your grandfather was of sound mind. The will's solid, and if they bring up undue influence, we'll argue the opposite. That he made his choice because of a real bond. What about the coins? I asked. They're yours once probate clears, Ellison said, but if I were you, I'd store them somewhere safe. I didn't wait. I rented a large safety deposit box, documented every album with photos, and started hauling everything to the bank. That evening, while loading the last box into my car, Derek stepped out from behind a parked SUV. Heading somewhere? He asked, eyes locked on the container in my hands. Yeah, to the bank, I said. He nodded slowly. Smart move. Wouldn't want anything to happen to Grandpa's legacy. His voice was casual, but the way he said it made my skin crawl. What's that supposed to mean? I asked. He just smirked. Things happen. Apartments get robbed. That night, mine did. Drawers ransacked, furniture overturned. Even the fridge had been dragged away from the wall. But nothing was taken. They were looking for the coins, just didn't realize they were already gone. I called the police. Detective Keene came by, dusted for prints, asked if I had any suspects. I told her everything. She shook her head. Money and family, always a nasty combo. By Friday, a process server showed up at my door. Gregory had officially contested the will, claiming Grandpa had diminished capacity and I'd manipulated him. He wanted the coin collection locked in escrow while the case moved forward. Elaine and Derek had filed affidavits backing him up. Reading through them made my stomach turn. Outright lies dressed up like concern. Then, Samantha ambushed me in the parking lot outside work. You're really gonna drag this through court? She asked. I'm just honoring Grandpa's wishes, I said. You're tearing us apart. No, you all did that the second money became more important than his memory. She slapped me. Hard. I didn't move, just stared back. Later that weekend, I drove to Grandpa's place to grab his coin books and reference binders. Gregory was already there and blocked the door. Everything stays until the case is resolved, he barked. They're part of the collection. The will says all related materials, I argued. They prove he didn't know what he had, Gregory snapped. They prove he knew exactly, I shot back. I left without them. But not before taking photos of Gregory's desk, scribbled notes about coin dealers, appraisal steps, case strategy. He was already trying to rewrite Grandpa's intentions. On Monday, Ellison confirmed it. Gregory was building a case around mistake of fact. If he convinced the court that Grandpa didn't truly understand the collection's value, he could argue the distribution should have been different. That same afternoon, Mr. Halston from Fairview Numismatics called me. Slightly weird visit, he said. Someone came by asking if your grandfather ever seemed confused or forgetful. Who was it? I asked. Tall guy, legal documents, said he was working with the family. Definitely Gregory's lawyer, digging for anything that would stick. By Wednesday, things escalated again. When I walked into work, a man with a clipboard was already waiting in the lobby. Luca Romano? Yes? I'm conducting interviews related to your grandfather's estate. Mind answering a few questions? Not without my lawyer. It's just informal, he said. Did your grandfather ever mention the value of the coins? Ever seem mentally off? I raised my voice. Not without my lawyer. Are you aware of allegations of elder abuse and undue influence? I froze. People at reception were pretending not to listen, but I knew they heard every word. I turned and walked away. An hour later, my boss called me into his office. Look, Theo, I believe you, But this kind of thing, inheritance, elder abuse claims, it's sensitive. Maybe take a little time off, clear it up. It wasn't a direct suspension, but I knew what it meant. The walls were closing in. That same afternoon, I got a call from Keen. "We ran prints from the break-in," she said. "They matched Derek." I exhaled hard. "We also searched his car, lockpicks, gloves, list of coin dealers. Looks like he was planning a second attempt if the first didn't work." "Is he under arrest?" "Yeah, B&E, possession of burglary tools, attempted theft. He's in custody." "And the others?" I asked. "Derek says it was a family plan," Keen said. "Gregory told him to search your apartment." Conspiracy. I knew it. "Can you prove it?" "We're working on it, but this changes things." I called Ellison right away. "A criminal conspiracy kills their civil case," he said. "You can't claim moral high ground while organizing a break-in." "Think they'll back off now?" "Maybe. Or they'll double down." They doubled down. Thursday morning, I found my car vandalized. Windows smashed, tires slashed. A note was tucked under the wiper. "Drop the charges, or it gets worse." Keen came by again. "Textbook intimidation," she said. "Any cameras?" "None that I saw." "You need to disappear for a bit. Don't go anywhere alone." I checked into a hotel that same day. Used cash. Gave a fake name. Paranoid? Sure. But also smart. On Friday, Keen called again. "Derek made bail," she warned. "Gregory paid it. No contact orders in place, but stay cautious." That night, I sat in that hotel room thinking about Grandpa, about how everything he loved was being turned into a battlefield. I called Mrs. Tran. "Did Grandpa ever say what he wanted done with the coins?" "After he died?" She paused. "He worried. Said most of your family didn't care, but you got it. You understood the history." "Did he know what they were worth?" "Absolutely. He'd been collecting for 60 years. He knew exactly what he had. He knew the value of every coin, down to the last cent." "Then why didn't he ever say anything?" she asked, pausing. "He told me once," she added. "Money changes people. Better they think it's worthless than fight over it while I'm still breathing." That's what he said. I felt my throat tighten. "There's something else," she said. "Your grandfather gave me an envelope to pass along after he passed. I completely forgot. Until now." I jumped in my car and drove over. The envelope was sealed, my name on it in Grandpa's tidy cursive. I opened it sitting right there in the car. "Theo, if you're reading this, then the collection is yours, just like I intended. By now, you've probably figured out its real value. I never told the others because I knew what it would cause. In safety deposit box 847 at First National Bank, you'll find documentation proving I knew exactly what I had. The key is taped beneath the bottom drawer of my desk, the one that locks. Don't let them take what's rightfully yours, but don't let it change you either. Love, Grandpa. P.S. If things get really bad, there's something else in the box that might help." My hands were shaking. I had to get that key. That night, I drove to Grandpa's house, now technically Gregory's. I still had my old key. No lights on. I parked a block away and slipped in through the back kitchen door. The study was just how Grandpa had described it. I crouched under the desk, reached beneath the bottom drawer, and there it was, taped underneath, a small key. Just as I pulled it loose, I heard the front door. "Told you he might come back," Gregory's voice echoed. "Check the study," Elaine said. I ducked behind the curtains, heart pounding. Moments later, they walked in. "The desk's been moved," Gregory said. "The tape's gone," Elaine whispered. "If Luca gets into that box," Gregory said darkly, "we're screwed." I didn't move until they left the room. 10 more minutes passed before I quietly slid open the window and slipped out. Next morning, I was waiting outside First National Bank before it even opened. Box 847 needed 2 things, Grandpa's key and my signature, both ready. Inside was proof, layered, documented, undeniable. Insurance appraisals, receipts for rare coins, letters to collectors about market value and investment strategy. There was zero doubt Grandpa knew exactly what he owned. But then I found something else, letters addressed to Gregory. The first offered the collection to the whole family if someone showed interest. Gregory replied, calling it a boring old man hobby. Another letter laid out the actual coin values. Gregory's response? Trinkets, worthless junk. The final letter, written 8 months before Grandpa passed, broke my heart. He invited everyone, anyone, to come learn about coin collecting. No one answered. Then I spotted one last item in the box, a video file, dated 2.5 months before Grandpa died. I played it in one of the bank's private rooms. There was Grandpa, sitting at his kitchen table, looking directly into the camera. My name is Vincent Romano. Today is October 3rd. I'm making this video because I fear my family won't respect my will. I know exactly what my collection is worth, roughly $2 million. I'm leaving it to Luca because he's the only one who ever cared. He went on. Gregory, you said my coins were worthless. Elaine, you said no one cared. Derek, Samantha, you laughed. Luca never did. Then he held up the 1893 S. Morgan silver dollar. I trust Luca to preserve this collection, not sell it. Protect it. These coins are history, not currency. I called Ellison immediately. This destroys their entire case, he said. He understood the value. He made his wishes clear and deliberate. So, that's it? I asked. They'll have no leg to stand on, he said. Once they see this, they're done. Monday morning, I got a call from Gregory. First time he'd contacted me directly since all this began. We need to talk, he said. His voice sounded worn out. I'm listening. Can we meet? Just the two of us. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a quiet coffee shop downtown. He looked rough, dark circles under his eyes, shirt wrinkled, like he hadn't slept in days. I saw the video, he said. I stayed silent. And the letters, the ones I wrote to Dad. I didn't even remember some of them. Seeing them now, I was cruel. You shut him down, I said. He tried to share something he loved. You made him feel small. I thought I was protecting him, Gregory said. It felt like he was wasting his time on old coins. I didn't get it. He sipped his coffee. I do now, and I'm sorry. What happens next? I asked. We're dropping the challenge. Our attorney says we've got no case. Not with that video. Not after Derek's arrest. What about him? First offense. He'll probably get probation. Maybe some community service. Does he even regret it? He does, Gregory said. We all do. We lost sight of what mattered. He reached into his coat and handed me an envelope. Elaine asked me to give you this. Inside was a handwritten note. Theo, I don't know how to properly apologize. We were wrong. About you, about Dad, about everything. After the divorce, I was bitter, financially desperate. When the coin collection came up, I saw a lifeline, but it wasn't ours. I hope someday you can forgive us. Elaine. I folded the letter slowly, quietly. What about Samantha? I asked. She's still processing, Gregory said. This hit her hard. She honestly believed Grandpa would have wanted her to be part of it. Would he? Gregory didn't respond. A few days later, I got an invitation to dinner at Grandpa's, Gregory's place now. He said he was putting it on the market, and I should come by and take anything that meant something to me before it was gone. I appreciated that. That weekend, I walked room to room, letting memories wash over me. Long summer days, the smell of old books, coins spread out on the table. In one cabinet, I found photo albums, pictures of Grandpa and me at coin shows, sorting, laughing, celebrating rare finds. In his dresser, I found a journal he'd kept during his final year. The entries hit me hard. Luca called, found a 1964 Kennedy half. I told him to check for the proof version. He's learning fast. Gregory visited, talked about work, wouldn't even look at the new Mercury dime. I wonder, will they miss me? Or just the money? Luca helped me reorganize the collection today. If anything happens, I know it's in good hands. Ellison said I should tell them what it's worth. I won't. Let them think it's junk. Then I'll see their true colors. He'd known exactly how this would play out. On Tuesday, Dr. Whitaker called. Have you considered donating part of the collection? He asked. Not selling, honoring your grandfather. I hadn't, but the idea stuck with me. We talked about a permanent exhibit at the university, the Vincent Romano collection. Keep the pieces that mean the most to you, he said. Let the rest inspire others. I agreed. I donated 80% of the collection to the museum. The rest, coins with personal meaning, I kept, including our very first find, a 1943 copper penny we discovered at a coin show. Even that 20% was valued around $420,000. But the real worth? That was in what it represented. Patience, memory, knowledge, legacy. 7 months later, the exhibit opened. Collectors from all over the country came. Mr. Halston, Mrs. Tran, even Gregory, Elaine, and Samantha were there. Derek couldn't attend. He was still doing community service. But he sent a letter. A real one. Honest. Apologetic. I was surprised by how sincere it felt. Elaine stood quietly at one of the displays. Your grandfather would have been so proud, she said. This is exactly what he would have wanted. I think so too, I replied. Near the end of the evening, Samantha came over. Her voice was soft. Theo, I owe you a real apology, she said. I was greedy. I was wrong. You earned this, not through luck, but through love and commitment. I nodded. Thank you. Can we start over? She asked. As cousins? I paused. The scars were still fresh, but Grandpa wouldn't want me carrying bitterness. I'd like that, I said. As the crowd thinned out, I walked over to the 1893 S. Morgan dollar, the heart of the display. A bronze plaque beneath it read, acquired by Vincent Romano in 1986. This coin represents not just monetary value, but a collector's dedication. Mr. Romano believed the joy of discovery outweighed any price tag. A quiet voice behind me added, he was right. I turned. An older man stood there, wearing a badge, visiting collector. You knew my grandfather? I asked. Traded with him for years, he said. He was brilliant, helped me identify more than a few rare finds. He smiled. He talked about you a lot, said you were the only one who really understood. I learned everything from him, I said. Then you learned from the best. Driving home that night, I thought about how much had changed. What started as a fight over money had turned into something bigger, a tribute, not to wealth, but to legacy, to love, to curiosity, to the simple joy of discovery. I stored the remaining coins in a new deposit box, but something else had shifted. I started collecting again. Not like Grandpa, his scale was unmatched, but with the same care. Coins that told stories, tiny pieces of history. A month later, I got a call from a local middle school teacher. Some of my students saw the exhibit, she said. They're fascinated. Would you come speak to the class? I didn't even hesitate. I packed a few sample coins, Grandpa's old magnifying glass, and drove to the school. Standing in front of that classroom, I smiled. His voice echoed in my head. How many of you have old coins at home? I asked. And just like that, his legacy kept going. Almost every hand went up. I smiled, held up a worn penny under the projector, and said, let me teach you what to look for. For an hour, I showed them how to read mint marks, spot error coins, and understand their historical value. One boy brought me a 1955 penny with strange markings. I took a closer look. My heart jumped. It was a 1955 double die, one of the most famous mint errors out there. Is it worth anything? He asked. It might be, I said carefully. But more than that, it's rare. It has a story. And when he smiled, I saw the same excitement I once had sitting next to Grandpa. After class, the teacher pulled me aside. You've got a gift for this, she said. Ever thought about doing it more often? I hadn't, but maybe I should have. 6 months later, I left my accounting job and started working part-time at the museum. I ran school programs and hosted beginner coin workshops. It paid less, but Grandpa's collection gave me the freedom to choose meaning over money. The family, slowly, started healing. Gregory and I have lunch every so often. Our conversations feel real now, not tense. Elaine began volunteering at a nonprofit that helps women with financial literacy. Derek took a business ethics course and now mentors troubled youth. And Samantha? She became the museum's biggest online supporter. She shared Grandpa's story, brought friends to the exhibit, and turned his legacy into something people wanted to learn from. That Christmas, we had our first peaceful family dinner in years. We talked about Grandpa, not the coins, just him, his quirks, his stubborn streak, his awful dad jokes, the way his eyes lit up when he found a rare coin. At one point, Samantha asked if I'd brought any coins with me. I pulled out a 1964 Kennedy $50. It's not particularly valuable, I said, but Grandpa always said it reminded him how quickly history can shift. It came out right after the assassination. Gregory turned it over in his hand. I never thought of coins that way, like tiny pieces of history. That's how Grandpa saw them, I said, little snapshots of time. And for once, no one brought up money or fairness. We just talked, we shared, we remembered.